Everybody's got really good intros to their videos. I think I need to come up with something. Haha! Burn it! No. How do? No, not that one. Let's go build some junk. Hi, I'm Anthony, and welcome to my workshop. Hello. Do you know what? It's 4th Avenue guitars. I'm just going to drill holes in stuff. If you're not bleeding at the end, you haven't worked hard enough. That's my motto. Well, the guitar needs a neck. So I've got my blank that I prepared earlier here. I need to route for the truss rod. I've already got the headstock angle planed in and the centre laminate's tapered. So obviously we've got a slight taper to this already. That's only going to get kind of emphasised when I cut it down properly. It needs ears putting on the headstock and various other things, but it needs a truss rod. So I'm going to get on to doing that now. I've got my jig for that here. So all I need to do is attach this down and then start routing. We've got the truss rod slot cut in and I've just routed the access slot in the headstock. I need to join the two up, so I have to drill a hole through this gap here, which is the reason that in the first place that I bought my extra long drill bits. They've come in incredibly handy since then for a variety of jobs, and I really shouldn't throw that on the floor. I have just swept. Sweep again. But essentially, what we do is we get the longest drill bit we can, stick it in there, whiz it round until it comes out there. So I'm going to do that now. I want to get my fretboard started. I need to radius and slot it because I'm going to try something that I've not done before on this, and I want the opportunity to make another one if it goes horribly wrong. I don't think it will, or at least I hope it won't, but if it does, I at least want to know I've got time to sort it and replace it. But I've got this really nice piece of rosewood which has got some interesting colours going on. If I'm sticking with the kind of Yggdrasil and kind of Norse mythology and the various worlds of the gods theme, it makes quite a nice little Bifrost bridge. So I'm going to use this, and I need to plane in a radius. You know what? I might do something fancy on the 12th fret. It's not like we're on a time limit or anything, is it? So there's a Viking symbol that's commonly known as the Helm of Or. It's kind of... It's first documented in like the 1800s, so it's probably mostly made up, but to be honest, a lot of the Norse mythology stuff is kind of modern interpretations, so I don't care. It's all imagery and it looks cool. So I think I'm going to do that on the 12th fret. I might be a bit insane. It's fiddly as hell, but we'll see if I can do it. So essentially, I need to mark it on here to see just how insane it's going to be, and then I'll have to find something to cut it out of. Wish me luck. I like the look of that as an inlay to look at. I don't like the look of it as an inlay to cut out. But I think I like the look of it as an inlay to look at more than I dislike the idea of it as an inlay to cut out. So I've kind of made a rod for my own back now. I'm gonna have to cut that out. Balls. Done. It's ready to actually inlay, which I forgot about this bit. I now have to mark around the entire thing and dig out the cavity. So that's the next job. Why do I do these things to myself? Done. And if anybody was wondering, that was about 9 hours of work and probably about 5.5 to 6 hours of raw footage. And I've just chopped it down to however long, a couple of minutes. Yeah. But it's also not actually the thing I was planning on doing that I've never done before. So it could still go horribly wrong and I could still have to redo the whole thing. That part is the binding. I'm using copper. So I've got my strips of copper there, which I've cut to length and I've checked out and measured. They're ever so slightly taller than the fretboard. I've spent a while straightening them out because it came on a roll, and I need to plane the width of this fretboard down to then glue on these binding strips. I need to cut the taper on this neck blank, so what I need to do is measure the nut width of the fretboard and transfer that to here, and then the same at the bridge end of the fretboard, or the body end, and that'll give me the taper marked out here. I can then essentially stick this down to, I can either take it to a bandsaw and plane it down, or I can stick this down to my straight edge template and run it through the table saw or over the router table to get myself a nice straight edge. I'm probably going to use the table saw, and then I'll get some ears attached to the headstock because I need to get that to full width. Actually, first, before I do that, I will probably cut the profile, because if I do that after I've got ears, I can't hold it flat on a bandsaw. Always thinking. Try and think 3 steps ahead, because if you don't, chances are you'll balls up somewhere and make your life more difficult, like I usually do. That's why you should keep your plane sharp. Why am I taking that off first? That's holding everything where I want it. Well, we've got a nice solid glue joint there. I now need to trim off these veneers and get all of this down to a uniform thickness. And do some measuring. More measuring. Let's use a chisel. I've partially levelled off the back of the headstock. We're not quite perfect yet because it's a pain in the arse to do. But whilst the camera was off, I glued on a faceplate veneer just so it kind of tied everything together, and I wasn't really paying attention to the camera and just kind of got on with things. That adds about 1.5 millimeters thickness to the headstock. So obviously I wanted to put that on before I took this down to the right thickness. So since I've done that, I've actually marked on around the edge the full depth of the headstock that I want before final sanding. And so now I need to probably set up a fence on my sander so that I can use that as a reference edge and run the headstock between the fence and the bobbin of the sander, and that'll just take me down to exactly the thickness that I need all the way along, and it'll start carving my volute for me. So I almost got carried away and forgot that I needed to do this, but I've put a veneer over the truss rod access slot, so I kind of need to open that up again. I'm planning on using Clousson style tuners. They will be Charlers, but they're quite easy to get the dimensions for. Charler are fantastic at putting the dimensions of everything on their website. So I've measured out exactly where I want my tuners to be, and I know that I need a 10mm hole for the posts to come through. So since these are marked out now, I'm going to take this over to the drill press, put it on a flat base to keep it nice and perfectly horizontal, and I'm going to drill these 6 holes, and then they're done and ready, and that's a usable headstock. I need to figure out my neck angle now. So I've got the neck angle planed in, and I've got where the bridge is going to sit marked out. So if I just use a straight edge on the neck plane there, and then double check my measurements here, we should have probably between 6 and 8 millimeters. We're currently on 7 to 7.5. That's pretty much bang on. You can just kind of mark it and transfer across, and you can use your marking protractor there, or these are quite nice and simple. Essentially it's just a case of putting one flat face on the top face, another one on the angle itself, tighten it up so it doesn't go anywhere, and that's looking like a 6-degree angle, which is probably about right looking at that. For anyone thinking that 6 degrees is a little bit steep, don't forget my carve is extra deep on this. So I've gone for the block plus the top is about 3/4 of an inch. So it's a good hefty carve. So that's obviously lifting the bridge a lot higher. Fretboard's glued on. I've filed the excess glue squeeze out off the sides, and now I need to get some frets in. So I've already cut the slots to depth and beveled them, all the edges. I've cleaned them all back out again, and I just need to cut all the fret wire to length. The frets have got nice rounded ends, they're all nice and level. I haven't recrowned or dressed them yet because I'm going to do that once everything's a bit further along. I think I'm about ready to start carving the neck.